but thanks for listening. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Week's Hey There, episode 277. Sunshine here with Cinderin.
Your macro worked.
That's right, it did. Congratulations to me. Congratulations to our audience for having another episode come out, I guess. In, how long has it been?
Let's go you. What do you mean, since our last episode?
Yeah. Has it been a week only?
Week and a few days, and that was because we were at an event, right?
Yeah.
Actually, hang on, let me double check now that you say that.
I mean, either way, it's not too bad for our standards, so...
Well, this is becoming the new old standard, as we talked about in that episode.
That's right.
11 days ago, it says, was the last ep. But it should be every... Like we said in that episode, if you guys did not watch the previous ep, we are trying to go back to the old format of once a week, whenever possible. As of the last couple of months, we started doing them bi-weekly because we felt like there wasn't enough going on in Dota to talk about, and you weren't finding as much interesting tech stuff and whatnot. But the overwhelming feedback from the audience was that you guys just want an episode a week, even if we talk less about Dota or if it's shorter. So we're going to do that again. And
I'm sure it's the vocal minority that wants this.
That's possible. Yeah, I mean, if people don't want to watch it, they can just not.
That's true. That is an option. Yeah.
It is possible. You can do that.
All right. Well, thank you to our beautiful patrons in the In Bruges tier. Amish Toaster, I canceled every Patreon except for yours. Y'all could talk about textile recycling and I would watch. Oh, thank you.
Wow. Maybe we should do a tier list of textiles.
Yeah, that would be fun. Crownfall Enjoyer, Disco Farm D, Dodgers in 5, Still Hate Wagyu, Dop, Empire of Dirt, Isaac Hansen, Janie, Anonymous and Malicious Damage.
And Pepperballs, Suns Nugget Boy, STGC Daniel, T-Coil, The Megapope, Vlad, Let's Have Puppy on the Podcast, Wooden Aftertaste, and Pigeons can recognize individual humans and hold grudges. Mr. Niebling. That's good info. I think this is going to be my new insult in pub games. I feel like pigeon isn't thrown around enough, but it actually checks out then.
I knew this about crows and ravens. I didn't know that was true about pigeons, because everybody just calls them rats with wings, you know? And if you think about it, aren't doves literally pigeons, just white? Isn't that the only difference? Am I crazy?
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead and Google that.
There is no sign... Okay, this is AI, so I don't trust this. Let's try another one. Pigeons and doves belong to the same family of birds called Columbidae, which consists of more than 300 species of birds. They share similar features like thick and round bodies, short necks, and thin beaks. But doves are generally of a smaller stature, while pigeons are often larger and stubbier.
I see. It's funny, though.
So you're pretty much right, I think.
It's funny that people are so disgusted by pigeons, but doves are like this holy thing, you know, when they're both disgusting, really. But it's good to know.
That's because doves are white and therefore they're better. Am I right, Shannon?
Yeah, that white bird supremacy really strong in life.
That's gotta be it. It must be it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, happy Thanksgiving and happy Black Friday, everybody. That's my segment. I just showed a turkey. I know you don't celebrate it, Cinderin, because you're not American.
No, that's right.
Yesterday, Nikki and I normally we would go to a house.
A stock photo of a turkey.
Wait, is this a duck?
I said you took a stock picture of a turkey.
That's right.
It's like, there's nothing personal about this. Is not. We went to Thanksgiving. Here's a picture of a turkey.
No, this is just something to show while we talk about it. I thought you said this is a duck photo. I'm like, holy shit. I didn't check if it was actually a turkey, but whatever. Yeah, this is some random thing I found on Google, of course. But typically, we'll go somewhere, we'll have Thanksgiving dinner, and I've complained about it before, because I complain about everything, but I'm not a big fan of turkey when it's cooked like this. I find it even just chicken cooked like this, I find it very dry and not very much taste. So we ordered pizza last night, and I'm a happy boy because of that. Now,
turkey pizza?
No, there was no turkey on the pizza. We didn't really have many options. Everything was closed. I thought pizza places would be open, but We had to go with my least favorite, which is Domino's, but better than nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my entire story. It's not interesting at all.
So how do you like duck and turkey then? If you don't like it like that, what? Or chicken?
Well, chicken, you can fry chicken. You can put.
Okay.
I'm trying to think for turkey. Like, I really like turkey, cold turkey.
Cold cuts?
Yeah, cold cut turkey is actually my favorite meat, surprisingly.
Interesting. Okay.
I can't tell you. I don't know the difference in terms of how they're made and whatnot, but yeah,
one is cold.
Other than that, yes, I'm not sure.
I think that's the primary difference. You cook a turkey and then you let it cool, and then it's cold.
They taste totally different. Totally different.
And then it's cold cuts.
Whatever.
Okay.
I just find Thanksgiving dinner to be kind of bland. Like, the things that I like are mashed potatoes, I guess, which sometimes, depending if it has cream or not, I can't even eat anyway. And then, like, the cranberry sauce they typically use. The whole dinner is pretty fucking overrated, though, I have to say. Not an enjoyer. That's why pizza is good.
Isn't Thanksgiving dinner... The food is secondary. The primary thing about Thanksgiving dinner is talking politics with your family. Right? That is what attracts people to this event. That's what makes it one of a kind. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've never experienced Thanksgiving. Obviously, we don't celebrate it in Denmark, but I've also never attended one. So,
you'd love it. You'd absolutely love it.
The picture I have of it in my mind is that it's kind of like a second Christmas. That's the way I'm envisioning it. Like, dinner table with a lot of nice and extra stuff, seeing family, talking about whatever, and then there's just I guess you just don't do gifts, right?
Yeah, there's no gifts. I mean, I can't speak for other families, but for Christmas, we never would have a turkey. I think there's a lot of families that do that, but obviously for Thanksgiving, turkey is like the standard. Everybody gets it. Yeah, you would love it because there's tons of different options, tons of sides, tons of starters, as you like to call them.
That's what the restaurants call them.
A lot of different pie. Pumpkin pie is the main attraction. Pecan pie, apple pie. I like cobblers the most. So if somebody brings a cobbler, I'll be really happy about that.
Cobbler's also good.
So yeah, it's just the main attraction of the dinner I don't like, but the rest is good. So, all right, that's Thanksgiving.
We have pizza with cobbler.
That's right. Be thankful that there's Black Friday. You guys can get all your great deals, things that are overpriced still, despite being discounted. They were probably the same price a month ago, but they're just saying they're discounted. That's the way of life.
This would have been a good episode to be sponsored, but we don't have one for this episode in spite of it being Black Friday.
That's right. What a shock.
So we can't recommend what you guys should buy, but according to Shannon, not turkey unless if it's cold.
That's right.
You can buy that.
Cold turkey's always
Maybe
good.
That's 35% off the day after Thanksgiving. It's probably a good discount on turkeys the day after, right?
Yeah, possibly.
So it's like buying duck after Christmas.
Next up is the NBA segment, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're really excited to hear this. I figured I'd talk about the Suns briefly. I think I brought it up before, but they've been horrific in years past to the point where I was only watching them if they were winning, but they were painful to watch because they just weren't trying. And now we have like a ragtag group of players that are actually fun to watch. They try really hard, and we were picked to be one of the worst teams in the league. And right now, it's early. It's only like, about 20 games in. We're 6th in the West, so it's like the big surprise story of the Western Conference, at least, which is the most competitive.
Top 8, right, for playoffs?
Top 6 guarantees playoffs, and then the next 4 do a play-in to see who the last 2 are.
Top 10 have a chance. Okay.
Yeah. So far, so good. We've had a relatively easy schedule, and the in-season tournament, which is this big thing that they've sprung on people, which sounded kind of meh to me initially, has actually grown on me quite a bit, and it's much more hype, where they basically have you play against, and they put you in several different groups, and you play on these really weird-looking courts that the players are all complaining about because apparently they're just slippery, but they look crazy. And it's basically for a chance to go to Vegas and play more games. And the winner, every member of the team, including the coaching staff, get $500,000 if you win. So this is like a big incentive for the players because all they care about is money, obviously, to try hard in the beginning of the season, which is typically considered to be not the most fun games to watch. So this has actually been very interesting. And the Suns right now.
How are you doing for that then?
Yeah, so it's groups of 5, and we are 3-0 right now, which is crazy. The problem is tonight we will be playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are also 3-0. But more importantly, if you look at their actual standings, Cinderin, let's see. They are 18-1 right now. They're the team that won the championship. So we're going to get curb stomped tonight, but still very happy with the performance of the Suns. So, but the thing is, even if we lose, there's still a chance to make it on a tiebreaker situation, but it's based off of differential.
Right.
Which is also a nice little thing, because a lot of times in the fourth quarter, let's say you're up 20 and the game's kind of over, you put in your garbage time minutes, guys, players that don't typically get to play, you lose like 10 points of the lead, people stop trying as hard. Now you're trying hard the whole game, which is kind of cool.
That's something that should have always been the case, honestly.
Yeah, that's it. Pretty happy with the Suns.
It's a good team to go up against, right? Like, you can only impress.
Yeah, we're the major underdogs.
The expected outcome is a loss, and if you do well and lose, it's still good for the players. And if you do poorly, well, that was what everybody thought was going to happen. So there's like no pressure, right?
Yeah, that's true.
In a game like that.
Yeah, you should give them a pep
major
talk
upsets in Dota happen exactly like that, right?
Yeah,
it's like some team that has let's prognosis 8th or whatever in the overall tournament, and then they play a super top dog, and then they get off to a good start, and they just, pressure's off.
True.
Examples of that. I believe, Shannon. I believe in your team.
Thank you.
And even if I don't, it doesn't make a difference. So.
It does not. Yeah. Thank God for that.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Next.
Otherwise, you would have doomed them for years.
True. Next, we have a. Would you like to take over for now? This is hilarious.
It's your fuck up. This is you.
All right. So a few weeks ago, we talked about the biggest drama in Dota history, probably actual drama with a player getting another player's girlfriend pregnant. We didn't know the specifics, and they went on a TV show and whatnot. And I talked about how this player, it's no surprise because they've been known to be a real piece of shit. Heard it from so many teams. Yeah, that's all fine. We could be a little edgy. The problem is I say we because you didn't correct me. I was saying
I didn't correct you.
I was saying the wrong player the whole time. So and not just that, it was both people involved. We said the wrong people. So we were saying Pakaz and Stinger were the ones involved. Right. It was Parker and Schofield. So official.
No, it was the other way around.
Wait, what?
Don't fuck it up again. Don't fuck it up again.
What do you mean?
This once.
How did I fuck?
Last episode, we said it was Parker and Schofield. It was Pakaz and Stinger.
Wait, no.
And you thought it was Parker.
Parker's the piece of shit, right?
Right. Okay. You're very,
maybe
no filter here.
God.
Okay. The actual story, which was like we talked about like a month ago on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Was with Pakaz and Stinger. Those were the people it actually happened to.
Okay.
Now, in the previous episode, when we talked about it again, you referred to it as Parker and Schofield.
Man, I did it again. That's crazy.
And it was Pakaz and Stinger. This is your last chance, Shannon. This is your last chance. And the reason it was funny was not only did we fuck up both names, which I personally think is better than fucking up one, because now it's extra funny that we got both names wrong this time, but also that the entire first episode when we were talking about it with Pakaz, in your mind it was Parker, who has had a lot of secondary drama around him in Dota, right? With like teammates saying he's hard to work with and fallouts on stream and whatnot. So you kind of melded the two people together in your mind and said about Pakaz what you would have said about Parker.
Official apology for messing it up the first time, also the second time, and also the third time today. How the fuck is that? Okay, so Pakaz is the one that was actually in this drama.
Pakaz and Stinger.
Parker had nothing to do with it, but he still remains a piece of shit. And it just keeps popping in my head that, like, it keeps coming back because it's like, surely he's the one involved because it's Parker. All the players hate Parker. Like,
There are other ways to deliver this apology, but I'll take it.
Well, I'm apologizing to Pakaz and Stinger. And I guess Schofield as well. Parker, I don't give a shit about. He can, whatever. Nobody cares. Okay? He ruined his own career. It is what it is.
Oh my god. That is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we can have Parker on the next episode as a guest to get his side of the story. All right, so I think that ends this segment. That was
awesome.
A good one.
Yeah, we should get Parker on the podcast for the next episode. Nicky's right. That's a good shout.
All right, PGL Wallachia Season 6, which we cast. Take it over, big boy.
Right. Yeah, so we talked about this one on the past episode when we were at the event, and that was, I forgot exactly how far into the tournament we were at the time. I believe we were about to be done with the Swiss, if I'm not mistaken. I think we were 2 rounds in. But we had done our predictions prior to the tournament beginning. We just couldn't do the episode because of travel and the overall timing. So we have our predictions, and now we have the results. Let's start with the results and how this impacts the prediction game, and then talk about the tournament in general. So actually no, let's do it opposite order. That's better. So in the top 8, it's a Swiss format. Top 8 advanced to the playoffs. Those 8 teams were Team Spirit and Team Liquid with 3-0 records. OG, Paravision, and Mouse with 3-1. And BetBoom, Tundra, and Heroic with 3-2. So that generated the double limb bracket with 8 teams. And then to try to summarize this, what we usually do is we talk about like the top 3 and any big surprises and any big flops. Let's start with the positives. OG, this new roster, people didn't really know what to think. I personally think they played very well, and I think their ultimate placement of 5th, 6th is actually a little bit lower than what I would have said was the ceiling. I definitely think they could have got top 3. They were very close as well, by the way. They, in the playoffs, they started off against BetBoom. They won that 2-1. And then they played against Liquid, which they lost 1-2 with a very infamous Rapier purchase, which people were shitting on a lot. So basically here, let me try to summarize this series for you. OG play versus Liquid in a best of 3. OG win all early games. They're doing great. They're far ahead in their games. Game 1, they lose in 65 minutes. Liquid come back and win a monster late game. Game 2, they retain their lead and win in 42. And then in Game 3, they have a big lead. They take a bad fight at the enemy tier 2, lose about 30% of their lead numerically. Then their Gyro buys a Rapier, and then they get 5-0'd in that fight, lose the Rapier, and lose the game in 35 minutes. So people were blaming the Rapier. They were flaming Natsume, especially, some fan bases can be very vocal. He was getting a lot of flack for it.
And
he then...
The thing is, sorry to interject real quick, the thing that makes this crazy for them in terms of getting hate, you're combining 2 things that get a lot of attention and a lot of vocal people. SEA in general, and then OG. You're combining both factors. Yeah. Like, it's a perfect storm for toxicity.
Right. So yeah, basically it was Natsume playing the gyrocopter, buying Rapier, and he afterwards, both he and a couple of other players in his team were out posting on social media how this was not like something, some stupid heat of the moment decision that he just made. It's something he had like receipts of. I've played this build in 3 or 4 games prior, played it in scrims. Yopaj was out defending him, etc., to try to calm the fans down that were just saying Natsume was just fucking around in a really important game. Unfortunately, after that, they just got 2-0'd and got knocked out. So they didn't really pull it back. They got 2-0'd by Mouse, which let's focus on more positives then. Mouse actually, I don't know where you would have placed them going in. Neither of us had them top 3. They started with 2 stand-ins. They had Ghost playing for Crystalis, and Kaori was playing for Celery the entire tournament. Crystalis came back for the playoffs. He was very sick. He had high fever. They get to the playoffs with the 3-1 score from the Swiss. And then in the playoffs, they lose their very first series to Paravision, 2-1. And then they run the gauntlet. This is rare. First of all, it's very rare that a team starts in lower and runs the entire way. Mouse won the tournament it's even rarer that it's not a favorite that does it, right? Because we've seen it from like someone like Liquid or, you know, those like top echelon teams caliber in the past. This was a team that many people didn't even have top 8. They start upper bracket, they lose their first series, and then they win 5 series in a row to take the championship, which is really cool to see. They had their own identity, they played really well, and teams were struggling to kind of crack the code. So first they 2-0'd Heroic, then they 2-0'd OG, as mentioned, then they 2-1'd BetBoom, then 2-1'd Liquid, and finally in a grand finals that we cast, which was very exciting, a lot of good games, they end up beating Spirit 3-2 to take the whole thing. And this was... It's quite the gauntlet to run, right? You needed to beat, 4 different regions? You needed to beat Heroic, you needed to beat OG, so that's SA and SEA. Then you beat Eastern Europe in BetBoom, Western Europe in Liquid, and then finally Eastern Europe in the finals again. They did the global challenge, basically, in this tournament. Super cool stuff from Mouse, and I think we both agree probably that if we had to pick an overall MVP for the tournament, it was probably Mid-1. I would say so, at least. But everybody in the team really carried their weight. I think everybody had stellar games, which is also very important when you want to win, is that everybody can pop off in their respective positions. But to me, Mid-1 looked like S tier in this tournament with some of the best opposition in the world. He was winning almost all his lanes against top tier mid laners. So he's just back. I don't know what happened. He was gone for like 4 years, and then all of a sudden now he's just really good again.
It's kind of like no one treatment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun to see some of these players come back.
So I have a question for you. First of all, this was really cool to see an underdog kind of come. I mean, if they had their whole lineup, I probably would have picked them top 6 minimum. Like I was expecting them to do well, but with 2 stand-ins, surely, right?
Yeah.
That's why I didn't bother. So that was very surprising. So Kaori wins the tournament with them, with Celery back at home or wherever. They've played since with Celery, but do you think how awkward is that in your estimation?
I don't know.
If you had to guess.
Knowing Celery, I think he's just happy and proud of his teammates. But what can potentially be tricky is if they really develop this rapport with Kaori through, you're running the gauntlet, right? You're playing really high intensity matches against very hard teams. And then you figured something out for yourself about what just works. You go back to another player. And then whether Celery or Kaori is better is kind of besides the point. It's about whether the team plays in a fashion that they all agree on and are winning with, right? Because they've just been at the absolute top of the top, right? So it's going to be hard for Celery to replicate it. They also don't play the exact same heroes in the exact same way. Is it awkward? I don't think awkward is the word I would use. I think it just puts pressure on him and on the team in general. Like, what if things go poorly? Are they just going to say, just do what Kaori did,
Yeah. It's
not really how it works.
Pick Warlock and Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, Kaori played very few different heroes, but he played very well. So yeah, that was first place was Mouse. Obviously, we just covered Spirit got second. Don't think we need to elaborate too much on that. That's not really too big of a surprise that Spirit can get high results. As a little needle, third place is Team Liquid. That was your white donkey, so congratulations. You were really bad on that.
I mean, it's a 50-50 with them. What can you say?
Team, yeah, sure. I mean, you're not wrong. Which, let's summarize the predictions then. So your predictions were, in order, first place Tundra, second place Heroic, third place Parivision. You get 0 points. Okay. All of those were very wrong.
Yep.
Mine were Parivision first, Extreme second, and Tundra third. I'm not going to check who of us was wronger, but we both get 0.
Holy shit. I can't believe you didn't pick Spirit. That's crazy.
Then your dark horse was Heroic top 3. They got 7th, 8th.
Yep.
And your white donkey was Liquid, not top 8. They got 3rd.
But I just have to give a quick shout out, though, to Team Liquid. Because of their white donkey status in every tournament I'm picking, I won the last bet. In part because of them. So
they've definitely earned you points in the previous season. That's true. And then my dark horse was Gamer Legion top 8, which was 1 game off. They got 9th through 11th, and they were 1-1. They had to win 1 more game, but they lost it. So that was close. And then my white donkey was Nigma, not top 11. And they got 12th through 14th. So I get 2 points.
Congratulations, Cinderin.
Which means I'm still behind, but only by 2. So you're up 6-4.
Man, I can fucking just take a tournament off and still be fine, it seems. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I got one prediction right out of 5, and you got 0. So this was basically like the tournament didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Easy peasy. Fine by me.
Keep
it close for now.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with the tournament, like game quality or whatnot? I personally thought, for the most part, this tournament produced pretty good games. Obviously, as usual, there's going to be some stomps, but
I mean, I talked about it before the tournament that I wanted a patch. It's not because I don't know. Like, the games were fine. Like, honestly, like, if you compare it to other tournaments in the past 5 years, this was a good tournament. The games were good. I just find it more exciting personally when things are crazy and nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Those are the most fun games for me to cast. So I'm always going to want like these big patches to shift the meta and all that.
I think one of the things to me that's most interesting about this in like a meta sense, not Dota meta, but just like tournaments as a concept, is that usually what's been happening in our game is that when patches go the distance, the same 3-4 teams just keep cycling wins, right? It's like, when we've had longer patches, eventually teams like Spirit or Liquid or Tundra or Falcons are just winning tournaments and taking turns almost. This one had multiple things that were surprising. First of all, that Mouse won against the World Elite minus Falcons, right? Who weren't present. And that OG just come in with a new roster and make a splash and could have definitely made top 3. Again, against all the best teams with the exception of Falcons. So even when these patches draw toward the end of their cycle and everything is quote unquote figured out for the most part, there's still some of the newer teams that can challenge the best, which is, I think, very refreshing. Like we've talked to death on this podcast. I think 2 versions of Dota are interesting for me. One is a tournament where you feel like 8 teams can win, and one is a tournament where everybody knows who the big favorites are, and it's about, can anyone beat that team?
Yeah.
And I feel like that hasn't existed for a while. It's generally like 3-4 teams can win. The other ones maybe have a slight chance. But this one, genuinely, I felt like there were many teams that could win this tournament, and I would definitely not pick Mouse. So that was cool.
So my boy Griever is asking a question that probably should have answered as well a while back. I feel like there's always threads about us casting finals. Yeah,
you
and
made
all
a statement
that.
about this, and this is on you.
It is on me. He's basically asking, do you enjoy casting a grand final? It's not often that both of you do. We've cast a lot of grand finals, to be fair. And my goal at the beginning of the year was not met, which was to cast a LAN finals. I don't consider this a LAN because it needs to be in front of a crowd. Yeah, no crowd, no LAN. Like, for me, genuinely, other than knowing that the stakes are higher and I know that we can't joke around as much, there's no difference for these games than for any other game that I'm casting. I don't know how you feel. I don't feel any extra pressure. We're in like a little room by ourselves, casting into oblivion, you know, just doing our thing.
It's a nice room though.
Their casting setup is the best out of any tournament organizer, period. PGL, you got that shit on lockdown. It doesn't feel any different to me. I don't know. You've cast big stage grand finals before. Like, is there any difference for you for when we're casting one of these?
I don't know how big the difference is between casting, let's say, I mean, there is a magnitude in terms of grand final versus, because we've cast lower bracket finals together, for example. We've cast on the final day of Big Lands a couple of times by now, right? I think the comparison is a lot closer between lower bracket final live and grand final live than grand final live and the grand final we just cast.
Yeah.
Because it's the whole audience aspect and the arena and the vibes. I find that generally commentary on video games in general is best when there's a live crowd, because I feel like it's impossible not to feed into the energy, right? You felt the same way. We've talked about it.
Live
casting
crowd,
live is just cool,
I will legitimately get nervous casting. It doesn't matter if it's, a big game or not. It could just be the first day of the LAN or whatever. I'll get nervous, and then within the first 10 seconds of starting the cast, I'm fine. But it definitely hits different.
Anticipation.
So for me, there wasn't much of a difference here, other than, like I said, we can't joke around as much, which is fine. I mean, that's something that I've learned, since this is not really an issue with you, it's me. I've learned to tone things down the later it gets into a tournament, to the point where honestly, I don't really even think about it that much anymore. It's just kind of natural based on how important the game is. The game is dog shit. That's what I'm interested in. If we're doing a really important game and it's complete dog shit, like one of those 2 to 30, do I still do my thing? Probably, because that's me venting. Yeah. That's my way of making it entertaining for me. Because I'm the one going fucking miserable watching this 2 to 40 stomp or whatever it is, right? So,
but I think so. This is a type of question that's been brought up multiple times, and it's because I think it was on this podcast like years ago. Someone asked about casting, and you said you didn't want to cast finals at the time. But it's not because you don't want to cast finals in general. I don't actually remember exactly what your rationale was back then, but it's outdated, basically. We're happy to cast finals. It's fun, and yeah, that's basically it. So we're not like shying away from it. We're not trying to avoid it.
Nope.
When given the opportunity. So. Okay, final comment about PGL Wallachia is, of course, to Arteezy. We wish Arteezy the best of luck in MMA. I haven't followed this. I think this is a very small, if even non-existent drama. I just thought it was pretty funny. Arteezy apparently has been shit-talking Kaori on his stream, I guess from playing pubs where he thought Kaori was playing badly or something. And he's like, if Kaori wins this LAN, I'm going to go to MMA and train. So hopefully Arteezy can find good success there. Although I must say, after Kaori did win the LAN, nothing changed in Arteezy streaming 10 hours a day still in Dota. But his schedule must be really full, 10 hours of Dota, a little bit of sleep, and then MMA training in between his streaming sessions. A dedicated young man, you got to say. He's very, very motivated.
You know, it's funny because if you guys remember how Arteezy got started, he was at Columbus LAN. I think this was before the Columbus LAN, though, that Loda said that Arteezy would never, or no, he was, I think, do you remember what the drama actually was, like, to instigate this comment?
Do you mean the Seb one, right? Arteezy's okay to be like a top 10, but not in a...
No, it was Loda. I mean, am I wrong?
Okay, so this is two separate ones.
I thought like Loda said, talk to me again when you win a LAN, is what he's...
Oh, Loda has said that to Arteezy. Okay, so there were two things then, because I think Seb also said Arteezy is okay, but not to be in a top team or something, right?
Oh.
Wasn't that the one?
I don't remember that one. I'm sure chat will correct us.
I'm looking it up here.
The only one I remember from Seb was the "Did I fuck your girlfriend" or whatever.
Oh, that was not with a player though. That's funny though.
That's one of the all-time quotes. Man, that was good.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's a Reddit comment. What's your opinion on Arteezy? It was from Seb made an AMA many years ago. What's your opinion on Arteezy? Have you played against him? Do you think he really has a lot to offer as far as skill goes? And Seb writes, he's a good player, a bit overrated in my opinion, but definitely okay to be in a top team. To say that he's one of the best solo mids, etc., is really exaggeration. He played like 10 games in a high-level LAN. You need way more to compare him to Dendi, S4, or Fata. What a time machine.
That is.
This is beside the point. I personally think, this is just my opinion, I think Arteezy relative to the field was best when playing mid. And I know he's played carry for the majority of his career, but I thought his mid was something special.
He played carry from mid, basically.
And I wonder if he would have stayed mid, how his career trajectory would have looked like comparatively. Because it's not like, he's won a lot of tournaments and had a ton of podium finishes, so it's not like he's been unsuccessful. He's just never, got that like really big major win or TI or, that everybody says is eluding him. And it's always one of those butterfly effects. Well, what if,
Yeah. That's true.
If he had stuck with mid and insisted on it, but he was playing with Sumail, and then obviously, like, what are you going to do, right? Are you going to fight over the lane that you're like 2 of the 5 best players in the world, or is somebody going to give? But yeah, it's. I personally thought his mid was something special. I don't know if you agree with that. And his carry was always very, very good, but perhaps not.
Well, he played the same heroes, but mid, right? That's what I remember.
Yeah, the mid lane was a bit different.
Like he would play like Lycan mid.
Timbersaw, TA, Lycan, Razor, I think. So some overlap at least. And then when he switched to carry, I think there were individual tournaments where he was perhaps the best carry, or at least one of the 2 or 3 best carries. But I thought when he was playing mid, there were genuinely a couple of tournaments where I was like, he was the best, And yeah. Anyway, that's just my overall opinion. But of course, it's... We'll see if he. First of all, if he returns to pro, he's been hinting on his stream that if he gets the right offer, he would be willing to play. And he's moved to Europe to stream and play pubs.
Yep.
So perhaps next season will be the return of Arteezy to either mid or carry. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It'll be cool. It's good for the game when he's playing. He has a big fan base, and it's good stories and it's fun, right?
So. Yep, for sure.
Okay.
Moving on to Blast Slam 5, which is still underway, Cinderman.
Yeah, it's true. So this one we're not going to go into in depth with too much. It was mainly just to get up to date on what's happening after Wallachia, because there was like 1 or 2 days in between, and then this tournament started, so like basically no break for some of the teams. This is a 12-team tournament with Extreme, Falcons, so they're back, Tundra, Yandex, OG, Tidebound, Yakult Bros, Heroic, Mouse, Navi, Tearlaments, which is a Chinese team, and Execration. So they're playing this, again, this slam format of 12-team group stage. Everybody plays each other once. And then they have a last chance stage, and they have a play-in, and then they have a playoff. And the playoff is happening in December in China, whereas the rest of the other stages conclude before November is over. So in a couple of days, we'll know. That also means that if things align correctly, we should be able to do our next episode when the playoff teams are found. And if that lines up correctly, we'll do predictions for how we think the final stage will play out, which has, I believe...
It's a pretty late prediction, though, isn't it?
Blast formats only have... How many teams is it they have on LAN? Is it only 4? Because if it's only 4, maybe we just don't do predictions for this. Because it's like, it's not interesting enough, right? And we can't do them now because we're halfway through.
Yeah, I think the playoffs are only 6 teams, right? So
right, and we don't have to do predictions on every tournament. We've said this before. We don't do all of the tournaments.
Yeah, I think it's weird if we do it.
So this is probably just
late.
a skip. Yeah. But we'll talk about the tournament when it's concluded and everything that's happened. But as a current snapshot, the teams that are doing very well are whoop-de-doo, Falcons and Tundra are 8-1. And Mao's fresh LAN winners are 5-4, together with OG. Yandex are 6-3. And then we've got Heroic and Extreme on 4-5. And then after that, it trickles down. So a lot of games still to be played, but as it stands, Falcons and Tundra are guaranteed through. Because the max amount of games you can play is 11, so their worst possible score is 8-3 for both of them, which should absolutely guarantee you a high enough placement to play. At the very least, the play-in, or rather the playoff, sorry. The play-in is for the lower teams in the top 8. Sounds weird to say out loud. Yeah, so that's also going on. Let's see if Maus can make another deep run, or OG perhaps, learn from their mistakes. Or if Falcons and Tundra are just going to win.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right. Let's talk about Kez. You put this on the outline. So effectively what you want to find out is how we felt about casting him, because we've been dreading it. I say we. I've been dreading it because I don't find the hero to be that interesting. Do you have an opinion? Now that we've seen it up close and
I wanted
personal?
to split it into a couple of things, right? Because I have my own experience playing with and against the hero in pubs. I have not played it myself. It's not really my cup of tea, this hero. But my overall impression from the many pub games I played with and against the hero is that some of the time it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's happening when he's doing spells. And that he's overall extremely snowbally. Some games he just kills everyone in 2 seconds, and in other games he hits like a wet noodle and just falls over, especially if he gets jumped. So I was wondering, when putting Captain's Mode into pro teams' hands, sometimes hero dynamics change a lot. Like some heroes are really good at exploiting mistakes that happen way more in pub games than pro. And Kez remained a mixed bag for me in this tournament. A few teams first picked it and did well. Most teams ignored it or picked it late or banned it. And the overall results of the hero were also very mixed. We had a couple of games where it totally popped off on like Mickey or Pure. And then we had some games where it was like, you could have picked any normal carry and done better.
Yeah.
And as far as casting goes, I still felt like in some fights it was the best way I can explain this, if you haven't played Dota for a while, is Kez is like the new PA that just does more stuff and is just better. So he has more mobility. He is as explosive in his damage. He has more survivability and arguably better laning too against a lot of heroes. And PA is just bad right now. So PA was barely, if even, touched the whole tournament, whereas Kez got played a lot. But with PA, it's inherently very obvious what's happening because she's very simple. She blinks in, she has a big crit, and people fucking die. With Kez, he swings around his arms, flailing like a balloon man in the wind or whatever, and suddenly there's 3 dead corpses next to you, you know?
Balloon man? I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's called in English. You know, the inflatable ones they have in front of car dealerships or whatever to draw your attention. What are they called?
I thought it was just inflatable man.
Inflatable man? Maybe, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Balloon Man is a guy who makes balloons at conventions. Right? That's not what I meant.
Balloon Man, that would be a cool hero concept. Yeah, for me, because I was dreading it because, you know, just a lot going on there. I actually didn't have any issue with him, believe it or not. I think I'll echo one thing you said, that it's a feast or famine. Either suck dick or was god tier. There's pretty much no in between. I don't think we had a single game that was like lengthy with a Kez in it. Or even like if you look at it in small segments of the game, sometimes they'll just tear everybody apart, and then the next fight they just get stunned once and they're dead. Kind of the microcosm of the hero. But having said that, I've actually found it relatively easy to follow along with what he was doing. I think the ults are like these 2 big AoE things, very obvious what's going on.
Yeah.
The grappling claw, self-explanatory. The echo strike or whatever from... I mean, you mainly know that from the the Vampire Survivors thing. So just inherently, it felt actually kind of intuitive to follow on what he was actually doing. But to figure out why he's good in this situation versus another hero, no fucking clue. Still no idea.
I think, to me, there's 2 things there. One is, I think the obvious comparison to this hero is Invoker, who's like the caster version of a hero that does a lot of different stuff, right? With Invoker, I feel like all of his spells are so inherently extremely different and extremely clear, and we've had the hero for many years, so everybody's had more time to figure it out and to learn and to understand. But it's also just something about the visuals on screen. And then for Kez, I agree, all of his big spells are very obvious to follow. It's more like, I think it's a lot harder in fights to appreciate if he does like a really clutch parry, or when he's really good at using switch discipline with Ags, and if he's comboing his spells in correct succession for the max damage output. I think with Invoker, it's pretty obvious if you've played a couple of games of Invoker, of just watching and being like, he cast his spells really well that fight.
Well, plus you have the literal
top-tier Kez fights and be like, okay, he killed everyone. Could he have played it a lot better? I don't know. Maybe.
Like, I mean, it helps that Invoker has orbs above his head, so you can and audio cues. One thing, like, is there? I'm sure there is. Is there an audio cue for when you switch disciplines or whatever it's called? Stances.
I think switch discipline has no audio cue. There's audio cues for parry, Echo Strike, for the Falcon Rush, like all of his, I think all of the abilities that do something have audio.
Yeah, maybe that's
switching doesn't, and it's very subtle. Some of the things, right? Like, and it's also about this whole thing of tracking in a fight. When you use switch discipline correctly, if you get the clutch stun from your parry, and if you're, it's a Mortal Kombat character, is the best way I can explain this. It's like Mortal Kombat. You need to do your inputs in the right order to maximize damage and to do the combos correctly. Whereas with Invoker, it's like you're casting 2 or 3, maybe 4 spells in succession, and if you land them well and within proximity of targets, they're going to do damage. Otherwise, they're misses.
Yeah.
I just think with Kez, it's less obvious. And I know I'm not the only one here. This isn't just me being like, oh, you're just uneducated, even though you're playing, decently high-level pubs. It's just because you haven't played Kez. There are people that are a lot better than me at the game that are way higher rating. I've talked to them about Kez. They're also confused, okay? So it's not like a me problem. It's just a general thing that this hero is a specialist hero, and I think in order to appreciate it, you need to play it a lot before you see the little things. That's also not that important in casting, that we see the perfect parry or the switch discipline mastery, right? It's about, did he fucking kill everyone or did he die?
Right.
And that's the hero. So.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you like the hero? I personally think it's a wacky design still. I'm not a big fan, but
what perspective am I coming from here? Casting.
Do you think he's fun to watch?
I think I'm neutral, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Otherwise, if I'm looking at from like and I know that Valve employees, if they were to watch, they're gonna fucking cringe when I say it. As a game designer. As a game designer, no, I don't think it's a good design.
As someone who worked at Blizzard for 7 years.
What's that guy's name? You don't need to say his
wow,
name.
the fact that his name isn't coming to mind is actually good. Pirate Software.
Yeah, that's right.
We made sure, I got to mention him at least once every half year for contractual obligations.
I just think it's unfortunate when a hero, I feel like, is kind of wasted on a convoluted concept when there's still so many different cool heroes that you can do. And I know the easy thing to look at is look at Heroes of New Earth. Like, I created a few heroes that were impartial, kind of like Heroes of New Earth, but combined with other aspects that genuinely, I mean, one of them turned into fucking Mars, but genuinely, they would be really good in Dota, and they're much more simple. This feels like you get one hero a year, if that, and this is what they come out with. That's disappointing from a player perspective. Casting, so far it was neutral. It was better than I thought. I was, like I said, going into the tournament, I was not excited about it, but it was whatever, I guess.
I think that's a good point, is that when you're putting heroes in the game, especially if you do it with lower frequency, I think it's, from my perspective, I understand that it had been a while since we had a higher complexity hero, but I don't think complexity equals quality at all necessarily when it comes to Dota. We have really complex heroes that are awesome. We have really simple heroes that are awesome. And if you're trying to design a hero that gets people excited and that most people will continue to play, one of the least played heroes of all time in pubs is Chen. And that's because he's complicated, he's very difficult to master, and he doesn't really pop off. Kez has the pop off factor, but he's still complicated and very punishing. Right. So I think if you're trying to make one hero a year, maybe this one should be the outlier rather than the norm, at least, because
it's funny.
The vast majority of players are not going to play this hero well. They just aren't.
All right, so I'm going to mention 3 heroes that we made just briefly. Okay, one of them I didn't make, but this is the first one I'm going to mention. A guy named Firetoad we used to work with on custom games. He made a hero. In a way, it's kind of like Kez, but it's more like it was like the evil brother. I forget what the actual lore was. The evil brother of Invoker, where he has 4 spells that are fire related, 4 spells that are ice related. When you click one, it becomes the other one. Like, it's just a toggle, right?
Right.
And they all have like different synergies. Like, you guys can look up Skuldress on YouTube. It's a pretty interesting concept. That it seems convoluted, but after playing it, it's actually not that difficult to play at all. It's kind of an interesting concept. So you can make something crazy like this with 8 spells and much more simple. And then the other 2, just look up the YouTube spotlights. They have a lot of views. First one is with me, you, Cinderin, and Slacks voiced, which is Penguin Commandos. Look up that concept and tell me, and not everything is aged as well. Like, it would need to be updated, but tell me that would not work in Dota right now. That's a fucking awesome hero. And then also look up, which Brax helped create, which is Thunderbore. Also another awesome concept that would work really well in Dota. Like, they have certain mechanics, just even individual skills that you could build an entire hero around that don't exist in Dota that are super simple and interesting. So, I don't know.
And it's also, if you think about some of the other heroes that were introduced to Dota in recent years, right? We've had some, I would argue, with relatively high complexity, like Dark Willow. We have 2 ultis that have, where you need to choose which one you use because they share a cooldown, at least partially.
Yeah.
And then you have something like Mars, which, once again, for me, Mars is one of my favorite heroes to ever come out in this game, which was somewhat recent, because it's really simple to understand. There's nothing complicated about the hero, but it's super high skill ceiling. I think, to me, that is the... If I had to pick a perfect hero design, it's one that's easy for everyone to get and easy to pick up and play as a beginner, but where you're like, I'm never done with this hero, where like the ceiling is the sky's the limit, right? And then you have heroes like Earth Spirit, where it's really cool, it's super fun, it's very complex, but it's also hard to learn. I felt like I spent 20 games on Earth Spirit even casting my spells correctly. On Mars, it was like 2, So there's like a difference there. And then you have something like Pango, which is one of your favorite heroes, which I also think is a relatively simple design, right? It's not overly convoluted. So
No.
I personally think both Pango, Willow, Mars, all three of those are just, in my eyes, better designs than Kez.
I will say, I mean, Valve has had a pretty damn good track record.
Yeah,
so
they have.
I think this is just a one-off, and it feels worse because there's no other heroes coming anytime soon, right? It's been over a year now, so
yeah, we'll see.
Like Muerta, I think was the one before this, and she was great. She's a very cool design. I think there's some things that could be cleaned up, but very fucking good design.
Yep.
All right. Your idea here, Cinderin.
Mm-hmm.
Take us away.
We haven't done this in years, Shannon. We haven't done a
know.
tier list on the podcast. We used to do I don't remember how many of these we did back in the day, like 5 years ago. But we did a couple. I remember we did one with fruit at the very least. Today is going to be a Dota-related one. I was talking to you about this in Romania, that we could do this, and you were like, that's going to be difficult because... So if you're an audio listener, you'll probably struggle with keeping track of this, but what we're going to do is we'll take the event modes of Dota 2's history, and we're going to tier them from S to F. And it's not every event mode. We're picking out of 9. There's some smaller modes that I didn't include because I thought they weren't worth it. Like, let's say the Nemesis Assassin's Contract PA event. This is like, is that even really an event mode, or is it just, hey, you're playing Dota, and if PA kills someone...
We needed something for F tier. That's Nemesis. Come on.
Oh, don't worry. We have another one here. We're good.
Somebody's correcting me. I don't want to... Sorry. Ringmaster was the last hero to come out. I'm sorry.
Oh, Ringmaster. That's right.
Also good design, though.
Okay, here are the ones that we will be placing in order of S to F, and I will preface it with, some of these had multiple versions. We are rating the best version that came out of it, okay?
Are we sharing tiers here?
Yeah, we're doing this together.
Oh, okay.
Aghanim's Labyrinth,
yeah.
Dark Moon, Dire Tide, Frostivus, Wraith Knight, The Underhollow, Wrath of the Morokai, Siltbreaker, and New Bloom. So most notably of those 9, Dire Tide, Frostivus, and New Bloom have had multiple versions. We are going to try to agree which one we thought was the best and what we even remember.
I'm trying to remember some of these.
That's the other thing here is, if it's not memorable, it can't have been that good.
All right, I'm having an issue. What the fuck is Wrath of the Morokai? Am I dumb?
Good. Here we go. Remember when I said we were going to get an F? Let's...
what the fuck is that?
What do you want to do first?
Well, the problem is the S tier is really easy on this. All right, we can just get that out of the way. You want to start positive and go negative?
You just pick the order. It's up to you.
All
then
right.
We can discuss whether we agree or not.
Aghanim's Labyrinth. I mean, that's S tier, surely.
I think Aghanim's is S tier, but it's not my personal number 1.
Oh, we're going to disagree on that one. I know what your number 1 is. That's...
I'll put it in S. I'm fine with that. So Aghanim's Labyrinth was the whole... You play as a party of 4, you go through rooms with challenges that increase, and it's a roguelike where it's kind of like Hades, where with every completed room, you get 3 options to choose from to make your character stronger that are based on your skills. This one was very good. It had great replayability, and a lot of people want it back. I don't think any single game mode that Valve has made still draws as much traction as that one, with people saying, please bring it back.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot more people are asking for that than Dire Tide, for example.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not going to go ahead here. I don't know if I'm going to agree to anything else being S tier. There's some other events that I really like, but Ag's Lab is a step above, I think. Yeah.
And I mean, this is shared. So if you want something on B and I want S, it's an A. It's the average of what we think.
That's
fine. Where we're going to place it.
ASS.
All right, let's do Dark Moon. Do you want to do Dark Moon?
Okay, Dark Moon, I remember loving it. That's the one where you're defending against waves with people, right? And you get to a big boss at the end, correct?
The end is the super invoker that casts all sorts of crazy spells. This effectively is akin to Warcraft 3 custom maps. The most memorable one for me was actually called Moo Moo. I don't think that's going to mean anything to you, but there's like 4 lanes going from like corners of the map in toward the center where your base is. And you need to wipe out all the waves to start the next level. You get stronger, you get items, etc., and you level up.
So when this came out, I thought it was S tier. But then when I'm comparing to Ag's Lab, it's more like A+.
Yeah, I'm on board with A for this. I think it was fun, and there was a lot of variety in it, and I think there was decent replayability. Um, a lot of the time when Valve make these, obviously people, I think what makes the events interesting largely is when there's like community discussion about what's good, how do you make a good composition, and people like try to beat the game as a community rather than just as a group of 5 people, you know?
Right.
People are like information sharing, posting ideas. It's kind of like when you find a cool build on a hero, or you see a stream and somebody does something new. That was that game, was everybody was trying to come up with the new shit. So, and I think in the same vein, let's do Wraith Knight, because that was similar.
Yeah, I would put it in the same tier. Maybe
Wraith Knight is the older version of Dark Moon.
Yeah,
this was where you did similarly with waves, and then the final boss was Wraith King coming back to life 3 times, I think.
I don't remember how many times.
I think it was worse than Dark Moon, but still good.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
I'm okay with low A.
Well, plus it had a cool thematic touch to it where Skeleton King was taken out of the game ceremoniously, right? And then he returns with this event, which added a little extra oomph. I thought this was terrific, though.
True.
So left to right, left means higher tier. We'll just
left is always highest in this. Question quickly here from Satyaki in the chat is saying, was Crownfall left out by choice? I left that out because it's not an event mode.
It's just an event. It's just
Crownfall was Dota, and there were you could technically put the mini games in, but they're not multiplayer, right? You're just playing yourself against the game itself.
Yeah.
Crownfall specifically did not do this, which I think was a shame. It did no co-op PvE event. It did the biggest game in that was the Vampire Survivors clone, but that's still not an event mode per se.
It's not PvE, but that was really good. I'd put that pretty high on here as well. But yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Next up, you pick next.
Dire Tide.
Okay. What was the best version?
Probably the first, because it was new.
I think so too. And I also maybe think objectively it was the best version. So the first one was the one where you were raiding each other's, whenever you killed someone, they dropped taffy, and you were raiding each other's baskets to try to get most taffy. And then at the end of the game, both teams were killing Roshan together. That was the original Dire Tide, right? I'm not mixing up 2 of them. That was the first one.
I thought they were both the same.
There's 3. I think when Dire Tide came back, it was changed, and then there was the final version of Dire Tide, which was very different, right?
Yeah, that one I didn't like. So yeah, no, the first 2 were the same, because the second one, it came out because of the Volvo Please meme.
Yeah, they brought it back.
So they just brought back the same mode, effectively.
Right. Okay. Now, I don't know about this.
I'm
between A and B, probably?
Yeah, sorry, say it again?
A and B, somewhere in between.
You say A and B? Okay, we're going to disagree. Even when this came out and it was fresh, I thought this sucked ass. I'd say D.
So it was really bad.
Very bad.
Okay.
This is very boring.
Well, then,
I don't think there's much replayability. Like within a game or 2, you're like, okay, I don't want to play this ever again.
Okay, let's say
I guess C then.
No.
Okay,
yeah, that's okay. All right, I'll pick next. Let's do Underhollow. So Underhollow came out, I don't remember what year, but this was effectively Valve's spin on Fortnite and PUBG, right? Like you get dropped in, you run around rooms, you try to get stronger and find loot, and you can at any point just run into other people and die. So a game of Underhollow could last 2 minutes or it could last half an hour, depending on whether you found
I need to look this up.
Good rooms or
what you're describing sounds like Soulbreaker to me. Hold on a second.
You don't remember Underhollow?
Hold on.
That's crazy. Don't you remember this?
I need to look at images.
Like you're basically, picture this. Think of it like a grid. You drop into a random tile and you're moving from room to room. You're destroying barrels, you're killing enemies, you're finding items, and other people simultaneously are also going through rooms. And at any point you could just collide, and then you're fighting 3v3 to the death. You can revive teammates, but if your entire team is dead, you're dead. You're out. The game is just over for you, and the other players continue. And then you play till there's one team left.
I'm watching a video
basically
right now.
Exactly like Fortnite or PUBG.
Oh, okay. I vaguely remember this.
I mean, if you have some footage, you can put it on screen. If this one is harder to remember.
Yeah, let me... Oh, I forgot I'm on Edge. Sorry about that. Okay.
Nice. We'll just get a quick.
Quick thing of Trump real quick. That's nice.
Yeah, lovely. Okay. Yeah, so...
sorry about the side videos here, guys. Let me just get rid of that.
Does this not seem... Okay, so apparently, based on the video title that you randomly found here, it's from TI8. So that would have been 2018, right?
Okay, this makes sense why I barely remember it, because I took a small break. This was when things were falling apart for me. And this is during Artifact, I think. So yeah, that makes sense why I may have booted up and played one. So I'll say that I don't know, and I'll let you decide it.
What do you think about the concept? Let's use that as a guideline. Do you think this seems fun to play? You can see the minimap, how it functions, right? There's like these rooms that are connected, and then you find loot, and you fight other people, and if you get knocked out, you're dead.
And you can run into multiple people or just one party?
Well, the game is just being played live, right? So technically, let's say you're in a center room, you could get attacked from both the left and the right at the same time if other teams... now you can see there's PvP, right?
Was there a revive?
You could revive allies, but when all three of you are dead at the same time, you're out.
I see.
So kind of like, I think Fortnite introduced that at some point.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Revival.
I
thought this was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you would... Okay, let's put it this way. Do you think this would be more fun for you than Dire Attack?
Yes.
Let's rate it relatively.
Easily.
Okay.
Easily.
So B.
B. Okay.
I think B is fine. Let's put that.
Sounds good.
All right, you pick next.
All right, how about Wrath of the Mordecai? Because I have no clue what this is.
I think you need to showcase this, because I personally think I played one game of this, and the way I remember it was that it was like regular Dota.
I thought that was Nemesis.
There was these like crystals.
Hold on.
Fuck, I might even be mixing this up with another game because I played it so little. Like, this was very unmemorable to me. But basically, you would play in the regular Dota map.
Yeah.
And you would play a regular game of Dota, and you could like find things. You can see there's like, if you look, players are like buffed by different types of crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And you're filling out bars, and then it's basically regular Dota with some layer added on top that was pretty uninteresting. That's how I remember it. It didn't really stand out.
I think I remember this, also playing it once and then never again. Yeah,
and it's also like debatable. So for me, if you're taking a custom game mode and it's Dota with an extra layer and that makes it worse than Dota, it's just F, right? Like, why wouldn't I just play Dota then? If I wanted to play a fun mode, I want it to be different than Dota, or an enhanced version of Dota that does something cool or crazy, or, feels like the novelty carries weight. I remember playing this game 1, maybe 2 times and just being like, this is just not better than Dota in any way. So there's no reason to...
Are you watching this video? Why is this like blink? Is he hitting alt constantly?
Like, what is looks like it.
Jesus Christ. How do you not go insane? That is a major tick. Okay, I'm fine with F. You don't have Nemesis on here. That would be lower than that, probably even.
If anything on this list is F for me, it's that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's terrible.
Okay, you do next.
We'll end with the one that you want to be S tier. That will not be. Okay. So let's do Frostivus, which I'm trying to remember what that was. It was I thought it was a bunch of mini games, right?
Yeah, there's been different versions. I think one of them, you would probably mainly remember the one where you're like penguin sliding and stuff as part of the mini games.
Yeah.
I think that was the best version, is the one where... I'm trying to remember what the centerpiece of that game was. Wasn't it also a defense type game? Or was that part of Wraith Knight that I'm mixing up now? Because Frostivus, the very first one was Frostivus comes out, and then just kidding, Frostivus is cancelled, and then it's the Grieveling, right? That was version 1.
So this one is the defense mode that I'm watching now.
And then there's Frosthaven, which is the one I remember, is the one you're showing right now, where it's similar to like Wraith Knight and to...
Yeah, this one was pretty good.
Dark Moon, but this one had some really fun mini games in between. It was like an enhanced version, right?
Yeah.
Where you're fighting bosses, but then you're also doing these like little mini games, and I think the class balance was better in this, or the hero balance, if you will. I mean, in the end, you're fighting Rubik.
I thought this one was worse than the Wraith Knight and the Moon one, though.
Yep.
The mini games were interesting, though.
I would probably put all three of them like similarly in tier. So if you want to put this lowest, I'm okay with that. I think it's still ahead of Dire Tide though. And ahead of
do you want a B tier or A tier?
It's either top of B or bottom of A.
All right, we'll do top of B to spread it out then.
Okay, sure. Okay, New Bloom.
Okay, what's that?
There's been different versions of this. There was the one where you're fighting the Year Beast with fireworks. That's the first one. I think the most memorable one for me. You're playing as a group of 4, and that's at least I remember you being 4. And you have these like consumables. I think this was the first time Valve put consumables that were over your spells. You remember the ones that became standard in the Battle Pass where you had like fireworks or snowballs that you could throw or whatever. I think in the New Bloom event, when you were fighting the Year Beast, you were using like a mixture of fireworks and whatnot as part of the combat, I think. Not super memorable, but definitely above Morokai.
I can't even find footage that looks like a game mode to me. It's all regular Dota.
Original Dire Tide. You could maybe search for Year Beast instead of New Bloom. That might be better. Original Dire Tide was PvP, and then in the end it was PvE of the same round. I remember New Bloom just being PvE with you against the Year Beast.
The Year Beast.
I remember being
Dota Cinema video, the great Dota Cinema. It's still just a regular game. Yep.
Oh, that's still a normal Dota game.
Yeah. Oh, I think I found it. Okay. Whatever this is.
Year Beast Brawl, I think maybe it was called. Or maybe that's what you were referring to.
There's 5 players in this. Man, look at the portraits. Some of them are so
so it's
old.
5. It's 5, yeah. And yeah, you're spending gold on items, and then you're fighting the Year Beast in like rounds. And I think there was a leaderboard for how much damage you had done to the beast or something.
Yeah, it seems familiar.
And yeah, you would be using like fireworks and stuff, I think. This was one of those, this felt sandboxy in the sense that I think the boss very quickly became trivial, and it became about how do we break the game as much as possible with damage, which the replayability lies in that, if you think that's fun.
Hey, that's me. I played it, apparently.
In terms of variety, I think I think the games are a lot more similar than something like, let's say, Dire Tide or Underhollow, where I think there's a lot more variety to it, where this is still, you're fighting the Year Beast with 5 players. How much can you min-max? And I believe this was also completely regular Dota heroes. I don't think there was anything, because that was also Dark Moon and Wraith Knight and whatnot.
Yeah, so if we're talking about the one that was not regular game, I put it bottom of B or beginning of C.
You think this is better than Dire Tide?
I think Dire Tide's trash. But
I would put it below Dire Tide, but I'm okay with it being C.
Below Dire Tide.
Okay. Yeah, I think bottom of C for me.
Fine.
Probably.
All right, and then the only Silt Breaker. So this is a weird one because from a game design perspective, this is the most impressive. I played for 10 minutes. It's just not my kind of game. That's why I'm trying not to be biased, I
mean, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think I can say that this is S tier if I really didn't like it, because
that's fair.
It's an RPG. I'm just not into that, I
think there's people out there that are looking at this list are like, what the fuck? How's Wrath of the Morokai not S? And that's probably one person, but that person also has an opinion, and it's valid, even if it's wrong.
It's valid.
So you can be wrong about Siltbreaker. That's fine. We'll do the average, and then hopefully that's above B, so it's not criminal.
I am okay putting it at the end of A.
Wow. Okay. So to people that never played this, this was Valve's first and only, I believe. I guess this kind of inspired to an extent Ag's Lab. Siltbreaker was a 4-player RPG in 2 phases. You played as a character each, and it was effectively like, think mini Diablo, where you need to do specific missions to proceed to the next room. And this was notoriously pretty difficult, especially if you didn't play with a group of friends. So Dota skills were transferable because it was about, clicking and using spells well, managing resources, but also understanding rooms and how to navigate them. So if you just solo queued this, your chances of success were very low. But if you played with a group of good players or friends, I thought it was fun to progress and try to beat the game. This one felt a lot more difficult to beat just the first time. I think this was the biggest challenge to finish out of any of Valve's game modes.
You know what turned me off? And maybe they added something later to fix it. Mm-hmm. But instantly I'm like, I'm closing this game now, is the camera was following
Forced camera?
Hate that. Absolutely hate that.
I don't remember if that was ever changed. So this had 2 acts. It came out with Act 1, and then Act 2 came, I think, a couple months later as the finale. And I don't remember what changed in between, but this was one of the more polarizing ones in the sense that not a lot of people thought it was terrible, but a lot of people thought it was the best they ever made, and a lot of people thought it was solid but not their cup of tea. Kind of like I think kind of like you, or you can appreciate it for what it was and you can tell it was well made.
That's the
but
thing.
It wasn't what you wanted to
this
play,
one,
right?
I can guarantee you took more time than like probably 2 combined Ags Lab. Like it's impressive from that aspect, but like I said, it's just not my cup of tea. So that's why it's hard to rate.
Yeah. This is my personal favorite because I think it was the biggest challenge and the one where I thought cooperating with the players I was playing with was the hardest and the biggest mystery as well, or the excitement of what comes next. What happens when we beat the boss? Like, are we going to the next room? What are we going to find? How do we make things work? And then starting over after you've died in act, like a third through Act 1, it was like, okay, this is difficult. You gotta figure it out. So there was like burden of knowledge, similar to Dota, where you're running your head against the wall a couple of times until you get it. Or I think a lot of their other game modes are more inherently obvious if you've played Dota, like Dark Moon, Wraith Knight. You know how heroes work. You can probably think, okay, it's probably broken if I have Cleave in a game that's about waves, or if I have big AoE abilities, or infinite scaling, these kind of things. And I think Ags Lab is similar in the sense that I don't think Ags Lab is as complicated to do or to play well. I think it's really hard to master, but I think the baseline is relatively easy to figure out. Whereas Siltbreaker was, you had really good Dota players go in and just get fucked in 10 minutes and needed to start over. I think most players that are good at Dota will play Ags Lab a couple of times and then, get it and be good at it.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
So I think for me, like Siltbreaker is my personal favorite. So I would put it top of S. I totally get why it's not yours, but I think I would have a really hard time putting it under A. And if
I'm fine with it somewhere in A, I'm fine.
We can put it below the other 2 as a shared rating.
There we go.
But for the record, it's the best.
All right.
Okay. As long as it's not in the bottom half or even in B.
I will say there's a pretty big drop off. Like from B to C, we probably could have done this. For me. Yeah. Because I hated Dioxide.
There's a pretty big drop from B to D and B to C, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is a pretty reasonable rating.
Yeah, it's somewhat reasonable. And Nemesis would be F-, of course. God almighty.
I would be curious. First of all, in the comments, if you guys what you guys thought about our rating, and also if we forgot anything. If there was a really big game mode that somehow was lost to time that we just didn't remember here. Or if you think we picked the wrong version, if we're like, the Dire Tide you guys are talking about was easily not the best one. There was this other one that was much better, or you're thinking about the worst version of New Bloom or whatever. Because at this point, it's been how many years of Dota 2 now? 15?
I mean, the fact that I was having trouble remembering a lot of these is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Plus, Ags Lab has 2 versions, right? They're both S tier for me.
Right. So we didn't even talk about which version you like better. Did you like Continuum Conundrum better or the first one?
I don't remember. I loved both though. I don't remember if I preferred one or the other.
I think it also blends a bit together for me.
I mean, the original is always probably going to be a little bit better because it's new and there's only so much they can improve upon, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cool.
Excellent.
All right, good list.
Yeah, good shit.
Solid list.
All right, I think we're done, Cinderin. We have made it to the end of the episode. Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations, guys.
Until next week, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Suns Fan Center signing out. Peace.
Bye.
We say things that don't mean anything.
Subscribe.
Thanks for listening.
Yeehaw.